J.P. Morgan, the man whose name became synonymous with American finance, didn't build his empire through luck or inheritance alone. He employed specific, calculated investment strategies that transformed him from a banker's son into one of the most powerful financiers in history. Today, we'll explore 5 key investment strategies that J.P. Morgan used to become a financial titan. Strategies that remain relevant for modern investors seeking to build substantial wealth. Before we dive into these strategies, it's important to understand the context of Morgan's rise. Born in 1837, John Pierpont Morgan operated during America's Gilded Age, a period of unprecedented industrial growth and financial opportunity. But what set Morgan apart wasn't just timing, it was his methodical approach to investing and his ability to see opportunities where others saw chaos. Strategy number 1: consolidation and monopolization. J.P. Morgan's first and perhaps most famous strategy was consolidation. Rather than competing in fragmented markets, Morgan systematically bought out competitors and consolidated entire industries under single corporate umbrellas. This wasn't just about eliminating competition. It was about creating efficiency and maximizing profits through economies of scale. The most famous example of this strategy was Morgan's creation of U.S. Steel in 1901. At the time, the steel industry was fragmented, with numerous small companies competing against each other, driving down prices and profits. Morgan saw an opportunity to consolidate these companies into one massive corporation. He purchased Andrew Carnegie's steel company for $480 million, equivalent to about $15 billion today, and merged it with several other steel companies to create U.S. Steel, the world's first billion-dollar corporation. This consolidation strategy served multiple purposes. First, it eliminated price competition, allowing the consolidated company to set higher prices and achieve greater profits. Second, it created operational efficiencies by eliminating duplicate facilities and administrative costs. Third, it gave Morgan enormous influence over an entire industry, which he could leverage in other business dealings. Morgan applied the same strategy across multiple industries. He consolidated railroad companies, creating vast transportation networks. He merged competing banks to create financial powerhouses. Each consolidation not only generated immediate profits, but also positioned Morgan to control entire sectors of the American economy. For modern investors, the lesson from Morgan's consolidation strategy is clear. Look for fragmented industries where consolidation could create value. While individual investors can't single-handedly consolidate entire industries, they can invest in companies that are pursuing consolidation strategies or in sectors where consolidation is likely to occur. Strategy number 2: information asymmetry and intelligence networks. J.P. Morgan understood that information was power, and he invested heavily in creating intelligence networks that gave him access to information before his competitors. In an era before instant communication, having faster, more accurate information could mean the difference between massive profits and devastating losses. Morgan established an extensive network of informants and correspondents across America and Europe. He had agents in major cities who reported on local business conditions, political developments, and investment opportunities. This network extended to government officials, business leaders, and even competitors' employees. Morgan's ability to gather and analyze information faster than anyone else gave him a significant competitive advantage. One of the most famous examples of Morgan using information asymmetry occurred during the Panic of 1907. While other financiers were panicking and selling their holdings, Morgan had superior information about the actual state of various companies and banks. He knew which institutions were truly in trouble and which were simply suffering from temporary liquidity problems. This allowed him to buy valuable assets at deeply discounted prices, while others were selling in panic. Morgan also used his information networks to identify emerging trends and opportunities before they became obvious to other investors. He was often among the first to invest in new technologies, new geographical markets, and new business models because his information network alerted him to these opportunities early. The modern equivalent of Morgan's information strategy involves thorough research and analysis. While we can't replicate Morgan's extensive spy network, we can invest in superior research, analysis tools, and information sources. This might mean subscribing to professional research services, attending industry conferences, building networks of industry contacts, or developing expertise in specific sectors that allows us to spot opportunities others miss. Strategy number 3, countercyclical investing. JP Morgan was a master of countercyclical investing, buying when others were selling and selling when others were buying. This contrarian approach required enormous discipline and confidence, but it generated exceptional returns over time. During economic panics and market crashes, when other investors were fleeing the markets, Morgan saw opportunities. He understood that market crashes often created temporary dislocations between a company's intrinsic value and its market price. While others focused on short-term panic, Morgan focused on long-term value. The Panic of 1893 provides an excellent example of Morgan's countercyclical approach. During this severe economic depression, railroad companies across America were failing, and their stock prices collapsed. While most investors avoided railroad stocks entirely, Morgan began acquiring railroad companies at deeply discounted prices. He correctly predicted that America's growing economy would eventually require extensive railroad networks, making these companies valuable in the long term. Morgan's counter-cyclical investing wasn't limited to buying during crashes. He also had the discipline to sell when markets were euphoric and prices seemed too high. This required resisting the psychological pressure to follow the crowd and instead trusting his own analysis of intrinsic value. This strategy worked because markets tend to overreact in both directions. During panics, fear drives prices below intrinsic value. During booms, greed drives prices above intrinsic value. By consistently buying low and selling high, Morgan captured these market inefficiencies. For modern investors, countercyclical investing remains one of the most effective long-term strategies. This means having the courage to buy quality companies when markets are pessimistic and to reduce exposure when markets become euphoric. It requires developing a strong understanding of intrinsic value and the discipline to act against prevailing market sentiment. Strategy number 4, vertical integration and control. Morgan's fourth key strategy was vertical integration, controlling multiple stages of production and distribution within his investments. Rather than simply owning individual companies, Morgan sought to control entire value chains, from raw materials to finished products to distribution networks. The creation of U.S. Steel again provides an excellent example. Morgan didn't just consolidate steel manufacturing companies, he also acquired iron ore mines, coal mines, limestone quarries, transportation companies, and even some customers. This vertical integration gave U.S. Steel control over its entire supply chain, reducing costs and increasing profits at every stage. Vertical integration serves several strategic purposes. First, it eliminated the profits that would otherwise go to suppliers and distributors, capturing more value within Morgan's companies. Second, it provided better control over quality and timing, ensuring reliable supply chains. Third, it created barriers to entry for competitors who would need to replicate the entire integrated system to compete effectively. Morgan also used vertical integration defensively. By controlling critical inputs or distribution channels, he could prevent competitors from accessing these resources, further strengthening his market position. This strategy extended beyond manufacturing to financial services. Morgan's banking empire included commercial banks, investment banks, trust companies, and insurance companies. This financial vertical integration allowed him to provide complete financial services to his clients while capturing profits at every stage of the financial process. For modern investors, the lesson from Morgan's vertical integration strategy is to look for companies that control their entire value chains or are moving toward greater integration. These companies often have more predictable profits, better competitive positions, and higher barriers to entry. Investors can also consider building portfolios that include companies at different stages of the same value chain. Strategy number 5, relationship building and trust. Morgan's final key strategy was his emphasis on building long-term relationships and trust. In an era when business was often conducted through handshake agreements, Morgan's reputation for integrity and reliability became one of his most valuable assets. Morgan understood that finance was fundamentally about trust. Investors needed to trust that their money would be handled responsibly. Companies needed to trust that their financing partners would support them through difficult times. Governments needed to trust that financial leaders would act in the national interest during crises. Morgan invested enormous effort in building and maintaining his reputation. He honored his commitments even when it was costly to do so. He maintained confidentiality about his clients' affairs. He used his influence responsibly, often stepping in to stabilize markets during financial panics. This reputation for trustworthiness created a virtuous cycle. Because people trusted Morgan, they brought him the best investment opportunities. Because he had access to the best opportunities, he generated superior returns. Because he generated superior returns, more people trusted him with their money and business. Morgan's relationship building extended to political leaders, business executives, and even competitors. He understood that business success often depends on cooperation and mutual benefit rather than pure competition. His ability to bring together competing interests and find mutually beneficial solutions made him indispensable in many situations. The famous example of Morgan's relationship strategy occurred during the Panic of 1907, when he essentially functioned as America's central bank. Working with government officials and other bankers, Morgan coordinated the response to the financial crisis, using his relationships and reputation to restore confidence in the financial system. For modern investors, Morgan's relationship strategy emphasizes the importance of building trust and long-term relationships in all business dealings. This might mean building relationships with financial advisors, business partners, industry contacts, and even competitors. Trust and reputation remain valuable assets that can provide access to better opportunities and more favorable terms. Implementing Morgan strategies today. While the specific tactics J.P. Morgan used may not be directly applicable in today's regulated financial environment, the underlying principles remain relevant. Modern investors can apply these strategies by focusing on consolidation opportunities, investing in superior information and analysis, practicing countercyclical investing, looking for vertically integrated companies, and building long-term relationships based on trust and mutual benefit. Morgan's success came from combining these strategies systematically over many years. He didn't rely on any single approach, but instead used all 5 strategies together to build a diversified, resilient investment approach that could generate returns in various market conditions. The key lesson from J.P. Morgan's investment strategies is that building substantial wealth requires more than just picking good stocks or timing markets. It requires a systematic approach that combines multiple strategies, disciplined execution over long periods, and the ability to see opportunities where others see problems. J.P. Morgan's transformation from banker's son to financial titan didn't happen overnight, but through the consistent application of these 5 investment strategies, he built one of America's most powerful financial empires. While we may never operate at Morgan's scale, we can learn from his methods and apply these principles to build our own investment success.